Coming up on Look Today, the Affordable Housing Task Force in Saratoga continues to work on affordable housing projects. I've got details. And the Saratoga Springs LGBT community organizes a vigil. More on that coming up. And Warren County Tourism Department reflects on Americaid in Lake George. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. Tonight's program I sit down with Mayor Joanne Yepsen of Saratoga Springs. She's here to discuss the issue of affordable housing in Saratoga. I also sit down with Rocco Ferraro. Now he's the president of the Affordable Housing Group. He's here to discuss research data regarding affordable housing. Plus we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first we've got these headline stories. In our lead story, the Affordable Housing Task Force continues to seek ways to introduce better living situations in Saratoga. The task force, which was formed by Mayor Joanne Yepsen, eliminated veteran homelessness within Saratoga Springs. Unfortunately, this required the veterans to relocate outside of the city. Well, Cheryl Hage Perez, the co-chair of the task force, has implemented a way to not only keep the veterans within Saratoga, but also potentially find affordable housing for others within the city limits. Well, the task force is in the process of working with the Affordable Housing Group to renovate houses that were built in the 1970s. Other units will also be developed where the Saratoga Diner used to be on South Broadway. Well, we spoke to Cheryl about the new units.
Vet Help applied to HUD for a grant for 14 units that would solely be rented to veterans in the city of Saratoga. And we were very fortunate. We found a landlord who was willing to work with us and rent just to the Vet Help program, and HUD approved the project. So the program starts September 1st, where we will be able to house 14 Saratoga veterans in affordable housing.
Congratulations, Cheryl. By the way, I know her, and she is very passionate about what she does. In other news, well, yesterday we reported on a vigil organized by the Glens Falls LGBT community. Well, today the Saratoga Springs community is conducting a vigil in Congress Park. Members of the Saratoga Pride community are coming together to mourn the loss of the 49 victims who lost their lives in the mass shooting in Orlando, Florida. Now, there'll be live music performed by the Orchard Project. Now, they're in residence in Saratoga Springs for the month of June. We spoke to Cindy Swabba. She's a volunteer for the Saratoga Pride Group.
Well, tonight this came together very quickly in response to the tragedy in Orlando on Sunday. We are the Saratoga Pride organization. We are coming together to heal together today, to remember those who lost their lives, to remember their families and those who have been wounded by this unspeakable tragedy.
Now, a gay pride parade will also take place on June 19, that's Sunday, in Glens Falls, to stand strong in a time, obviously, when fear and hatred, unfortunately, seem to be prevalent. Switching from news to weather, temperatures were in the low 70s today. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. Back to the news. Well, after the 34th annual Americaid came to a close this past week, some reflect on just how big of an economic impact the event has had on our region. Around 50 to 60,000 people come to Lake George each year for the event, and restaurants and hotels benefit immensely from this. There is also the potential for tourists to return to the village later on in the season after experiencing Lake George during the busy week of Americaid. Well, economically, it's a real boost to the area, with an estimated $35 to $40 million in revenue. However, compared to previous years, Americaid saw a slight decrease this year. We spoke to Joanne Conley. She's a coordinator for the Warren County Tourism Department.
And in addition to the fact that they're in the Lake George area, we know that they're not staying in the Lake George area. So you would be likely to see bikes lined up down Broadway in Saratoga, and you'll see them touring through the Adirondacks because that's what they like to do. They're out on tours on their bikes or on demos, and we'd like to think that we're sharing that economic benefit with the rest of the community.
In other news, here's a great story. The Hadley Luzerne High School was awarded 2 top awards at the Model Organization of American States competition, which is held at SUNY Plattsburgh. Now, the event is similar to a Model United Nations. Students are tasked with researching a country and in the Americas and then drafting a resolution to address real-life situations in that particular nation. Now, the 2 countries they represented were Ecuador and Costa Rica. Hadley Luzerne chosen out of 22 North Country teams to win the Most Diplomatic Delegation Award. What an honor. Now, we're in the process of setting up an interview with the teacher and the students from that class, and we're going to keep you updated. Up next, I sit down with Mayor Joanne Yepsen of Saratoga. She's here to discuss the issue of affordable housing in Saratoga Springs. Plus, I also sit down with Rocco Ferraro. He's the president of the Affordable Housing Group. He's here to discuss research data regarding affordable housing. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. Well, tonight's lookout goes to the Hadley Luzerne High School team that competed in that model organization competition. Drew Wardle from here, from Look Media, went to Lake George High School and competed in this competition when he was in high school. And he walked into my office and told me, you cannot believe how challenging it is and what it takes to win that award. So like we told you in the broadcast, we've contacted them and want to have the teacher and the students in for a longer interview. So in the meantime, though, congratulations to Hadley Luzerne High School. All right, tonight on Look TV, it's a Queensbury Town Board meeting. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.